My daughter pushed me down the basement stairs and walked away. Maybe now the old man will understand. Her husband said, "Just leave him down there." They didn't save me. I was in the darkness, hip broken, wrist fractured. But before the pain overwhelmed me, I made one phone call. Did they think I was a fool, but they didn't know I had been watching them for months. When the sun rises, that call will change everything. Hello everyone and welcome. I want to hear from you. What would you do in Luke's position? Drop your thoughts below. Quick note: this is a fictional story exploring complex human choices. Characters and events are imagined, though the themes carry real weight. Any resemblance to actual people or places is coincidental. Now let's continue. I didn't react when my daughter pushed me down the basement stairs. Maybe I should have. Maybe I should have grabbed the railing, fought back, screamed. But I didn't. I just fell. 15 steps. I counted them on the way down. 1, 2, 3. The old wood groaning under the weight of a 68-year-old body that used to mean something in this city. 4, 5, 6. The smell hit me halfway, dust and damp, that particular Newark basement smell that never really goes away, no matter how many times you run a dehumidifier. 7, 8, 9. My hip caught the edge of step 11. Sharp, immediate. The kind of pain that makes your vision white out for a second. But I kept my mouth shut. 12, 13, 14, 15. The concrete floor came up fast and cold. I landed on my right side, heard something crack the hip, probably maybe the wrist I'd thrown out to break the fall. My head bounced once, not hard enough to knock me out, but hard enough that the basement spun for a few seconds before settling back into its familiar shadows. The furnace hummed in the corner. That old clock on the wall, the one Patricia bought at a yard sale 30 years ago, kept ticking. Tick, tick, tick. Above me, footsteps. Fast. Panicked. Travis's voice came through the floorboards, muffled but clear enough. She did it. Not a question. A statement. Relief, maybe. Or confirmation of a plan that had been in motion longer than I'd realized. Then Amanda, my daughter, crying. The sound ripped through me, worse than the fall, worse than the pain radiating from my hip and wrist. Dad! Oh my God! Dad! The basement door slammed shut. The lock clicked. I lay there in the dark, taking inventory. Right hip bad, probably fractured. Left wrist definitely broken, already swelling inside my sleeve. Head throbbing, but I could think clearly enough. Ribs bruised, protesting with every breath, but nothing punctured. I wiggled my toes. Both feet responded. Moved my fingers. Most of them worked. I could survive this. That was the thing they didn't understand. Amanda. Travis. They thought 15 steps would be enough. They thought an old man hitting concrete would be the end of it. Clean. Accidental. The kind of tragedy that happens when elderly people live alone in houses with steep basement stairs. But I'd survived worse than this. A lot worse. In places a lot darker than my own basement. I pulled my phone from my shirt pocket with my good hand. The screen lit up bright in the shadows. No cracks. Patricia always said I should get a case, but I'd been stubborn about it. Funny what you think about when you're lying on a basement floor with broken bones. I scrolled through my contacts. Only took a second to find the name I needed. The only name that mattered right now. Michael Costa. I hadn't called this number in 3 years. Not since Patricia's funeral, when he'd shown up in the back row, paid his respects, and reminded me that some debts never expire. Some friendships never really end, no matter how far you walk away from the life that made them. The phone rang once. Twice. Luke. His voice came through rough like gravel and old tobacco. That you? It's time, Michael. Silence on the other end. Not confusion. Understanding. Michael had always been good at reading between the lines. Where? Woodside Avenue, same house. How bad? Bad enough. I shifted slightly, biting back a groan as my hip screamed. But I can wait. I need you to bring Salvatore. Another pause. Longer this time. You sure about that? I'm sure. We'll be there by morning. 6 a.m. Can you hold out? I glanced at the clock. 7:30 p.m. Almost 11 hours. I'll hold. Luke. Michael's voice softened just a fraction. What happened? I closed my eyes, saw Amanda's face in the moment before she pushed, the tears streaming down her cheeks, the apology already forming on her lips, the fear of Travis, of prison, of losing everything that made her hands move forward and connect with my chest. My daughter happened. Jesus. Yeah, just hang tight, brother. We're coming. The line went dead. I set the phone down beside me on the concrete, let my head rest against the floor. The cold seeped through my shirt into my bones, but I didn't mind. Cold kept you sharp. Cold reminded you that you were still alive. Above me, more footsteps. Pacing. Travis's voice again lower now, too quiet to make out the words. Then Amanda's higher, frantic. An argument. About what to do with me, probably. Whether to call an ambulance now or wait until morning when they could discover me and play the grieving family. I almost laughed. Almost. They had no idea what was coming. No idea that the old man they'd pushed down the stairs, the quiet widower who'd spent 35 years working construction and minding his own business, used to be someone very different. Someone who knew how to wait in the dark. Someone who understood that revenge, real revenge, wasn't about anger. It was about patience. The clock ticked. The furnace hummed. My hip throbbed in time with my heartbeat. I counted the minutes. Counted them the same way I'd counted the stairs. 1, 2, 3. Let me back up. Tell you how a 68-year-old man ends up at the bottom of his own basement stairs. Tell you about the daughter I raised and the choices that brought us here. Tell you who I was before I became Luke Henderson. And why when my daughter pushed me, I didn't fight back. Because some things you see coming, and some things you let happen. Because the fall isn't the end of the story. It's just the beginning. I wasn't always Luke Henderson. 35 years ago, I had a different name. Did different work. The kind of work that didn't come with a W-2 or a 401k, or any illusion that you'd live long enough to collect Social Security. I was an enforcer for the DeMarco family. If you know Newark, you know that name. If you don't count yourself lucky. They called me a cleaner. Not the kind that shows up with a mop and bucket after the fact. I left that to other people. My job was to make problems disappear before they became the kind of problems that needed mopping up. A business owner 3 months behind on protection money. A rival crew moving product on DeMarco streets. A witness who suddenly remembered too much. I'd show up. Have a conversation. Sometimes that's all it took, a conversation. And the understanding that next time wouldn't be a conversation. I was good at it. Too good, maybe. I understood something most people don't. Violence isn't about anger. It's about control. About knowing exactly how much pressure to apply to get the result you want. A broken hand sends a different message than a broken jaw. A broken jaw sends a different message than a broken neck. And the threat of any of those, that's the most powerful tool of all. I told myself I wasn't a killer. That made it easier to sleep at night. I was just insurance, just enforcement, just the consequence when people made bad choices. And then I walked into Rosie's diner on a Tuesday morning in March. She was pouring coffee. Blonde hair pulled back in a ponytail, green eyes that actually looked at you when she talked, not through you or around you the way most people looked at guys like me. Her name tag said, Patricia. "You want the usual?" she asked, even though I'd never been there before. I must have looked confused because she smiled. "You look like a usual kind of guy. Coffee black, 2 eggs over easy, bacon crispy, toast dry." Am I close? She was. I started coming back. Every Tuesday, then Tuesdays and Thursdays, then pretty much every day I wasn't working. We'd talk. Small stuff, at first, whether the news, whether the Jets would ever win another Super Bowl. Then bigger stuff. Where she grew up. What she wanted to do besides wait tables. Dreams. The kind of dreams people like her were allowed to have. She never asked what I did for work. Maybe she didn't want to know. Maybe she already knew and didn't care. Newark's a small city, that way everybody knows somebody who knows somebody. 3 months in, I asked her to dinner. Somewhere nice. Not the diner, she said yes. 6 months after that, she told me she was pregnant. I should have been happy, should have been terrified, should have been something. But all I felt was this quiet certainty that everything was about to change. Had to change. We were sitting in her apartment, 1-bedroom, 3rd floor walk-up, but she'd made it feel like home with plants and pictures and the smell of something always baking. She was crying not because she was scared, but because she was happy and worried and 1,000 other things all at once. "I'll marry you," I said. She looked at me, really looked at me. "And what do you do for work? And don't lie to me. I'm about to have your baby." I deserve the truth. So I told her. Not everything, some things you don't say out loud even to the woman you love. But enough. Enough that she understood. She didn't scream, didn't throw me out. Just sat there quiet for a long time. Then she said it. The ultimatum that changed my life. "I won't raise a child with a man who works for criminals. I won't watch you come home with broken knuckles and blood on your shirts, and wonder if tonight's the night you don't come home at all. So you need to choose. That life or this one. But you can't have both." I chose her. Chose us. Chose the baby growing inside her that would become Amanda. Michael Costa helped me disappear. He was my partner back then, the guy who watched my back on jobs, who split the take 50-50, who understood the work the same way I did. We'd saved each other's lives more than once. That builds a bond that doesn't break even when you walk away. He got me papers, a social security number that held up under scrutiny, a birth certificate from a hospital in Pennsylvania that burned down 10 years prior. Luke Henderson, born 1958. Ready to live a life that had nothing to do with the DeMarcos or anyone else in that world. "You sure about this?" Michael asked when he handed over the documents. "Yeah. Can't come back from it. You leave, you're out. They'll let you go because I'll vouch for you, but the door closes. Forever." "I know." He studied me for a long moment, then nodded. "You need me, you call. I don't care if it's been 5 years or 50. We're brothers. That doesn't change. I've called that number exactly twice in 35 years. Once when Patricia died. Once tonight. I got a job in construction. Turned out I was good with my hands in ways that didn't involve hurting people. Framing drywall finish work. Honest work that paid honest money and let me sleep at night without wondering if tonight was the night someone came for payback. Patricia and I got married at City Hall. Amanda was born 6 months later. I held my daughter for the first time and understood what Patricia meant. understood why she'd given me that ultimatum. Because looking at Amanda, this tiny, perfect thing that depended on me for everything, I couldn't imagine teaching her that violence was just business. That hurting people was just a job. Patricia taught Amanda about honesty, about integrity, about family. She made sure our daughter grew up believing in right and wrong, not the gray spaces in between where I used to live. And I thought it worked. Thought I'd left that world behind completely. Thought 35 years of straight living had earned me something. Peace, maybe. A daughter who loved me. A wife who made me better than I had any right to be. For 35 years, I was Luke Henderson. Husband, father, construction worker. A man whose biggest worry was whether the rain would hold off long enough to finish the roof. And then Patricia got sick. I stood at Patricia's grave for the third Sunday in a row. Holy Cross Cemetery, North Arlington. 20 minutes from Woodside Avenue if you caught the lights right. She was buried under an oak tree in the northeast corner, where the morning sun came through the branches and made patterns on the grass. She would have liked that. Patricia always said mornings were for fresh starts. I miss you, I said. Same words I'd said the last 2 Sundays. The Sunday before that. Every Sunday for 3 years. The cancer took 18 months. Started in her lungs, spread everywhere that mattered. By the end, she weighed 90 pounds and couldn't remember my name half the time. But she still smiled when I held her hand. Still told me she loved me. Still made me promise I'd be okay after she was gone. I lied. Told her I would be. 3 years later, I still wasn't. The house felt wrong without her. Too big. Too quiet. I'd wake up in the morning and reach for her side of the bed, forgetting for those first few seconds that she wasn't there. Wouldn't ever be there again. I'd make coffee and set out 2 mugs before I remembered. Cook dinner for 2 and end up throwing half of it away. The TV stayed on most nights just for the noise. Didn't matter what was playing, just needed something to fill the silence. Patricia used to say I watched too much TV. Now I couldn't watch enough. I went to the diner sometimes. Rosie's. Same place we met. But it wasn't the same. Different waitresses. Different coffee. The booth we used to sit in had been replaced with one of those high-top tables nobody over 60 can climb into without looking like a fool. Amanda called once a week. Sundays usually after church. She'd ask how I was doing. I'd say fine. She'd tell me about Oliver, about Travis's job, about whatever was going on in their lives. Then we'd run out of things to say and hang up. The calls lasted maybe 10 minutes. We used to be closer. When she was little, we'd spend Saturdays at the park. I'd push her on the swings until my arms hurt. Build sandcastles. Buy ice cream from the truck with the bells. She'd fall asleep on my shoulder on the walk home, and Patricia would tuck her in while I made dinner. But that was before the teenage years, before the distance that grows between fathers and daughters, when daughters realize their fathers are just men. Flawed men who worked too much and didn't always know the right thing to say. Patricia bridged that gap. She kept us connected even when Amanda and I didn't know how to talk to each other. And when Patricia died, the bridge went with her. So when Amanda called that Sunday, the third Sunday, I'd visited Patricia's grave and made her offer I wanted to believe it was real. Wanted to believe my daughter was reaching across that gap because she cared. Because she was worried about me. Because family was supposed to take care of family. "Dad, you shouldn't be alone in that house," she said. "It's too big for one person. And Oliver, he should know his grandfather. He barely remembers you." That hurt. But it was true. I'd seen Oliver maybe 4 times since Patricia died. Christmas, Thanksgiving. A birthday I couldn't remember if it was his or Amanda's. I'd hold him for a few minutes, give him a toy, watch him squirm to get down and play. He didn't know me. "Let us move in," Amanda said. "Just for a while. Until you're back on your feet. We'll help with the bills. Travis can help with repairs, and you'll have company. Won't be so lonely. Travis got on the line. It would really help us out too, Luke. Rent's killing us in Jersey City. And this way, Oliver grows up around family. Win-win, you know. I should have said no. Should have heard the too casual tone in Travis's voice. The way Amanda jumped in with the offer before I could think about it too long. But I was sitting in that empty house in the living room, where Patricia used to knit while I watched baseball, and all I could think was that maybe this was the fresh start she would have wanted me to take. Okay, I said. You can move in. They arrived 2 weeks later, U-Haul truck boxes stacked in the driveway. Oliver running around the front yard while Amanda directed Travis on what went where. She hugged me when I opened the door. First real hug in years. Thanks, Dad. This means a lot. The first few weeks were good. Better than good. Amanda cooked dinners that tasted like the meals Patricia used to make meatloaf with that brown sugar-glazed chicken, with the lemon and rosemary, even the chocolate cake that was my favorite. The house smelled like home again, like someone lived there instead of just existing. Travis was polite, helpful, fixed the loose railing on the front porch, cleaned the gutters, complimented the yard, asked about my time in construction, seemed genuinely interested in the stories I told. And Oliver. God, Oliver made the house alive again, his laugh echoing down the hallways, his toys scattered in the living room. The way he'd climb into my lap during cartoons and fall asleep heavy and warm and trusting. I thought maybe I'd gotten my family back. Thought maybe Patricia was watching from wherever she was and smiling because her stubborn husband had finally let people in again. But then small things started to change. Travis began asking questions. Casual at first. How much was the house worth? Did I have a mortgage? What bank did I use? Just curious, he'd say. Just making conversation. Amanda mentioned my will. You do have one, right, Dad? It's important. For Oliver's sake. We should make sure everything's in order. Just in case. Just in case of what I was 68, not 90. Still walked 3 miles every morning. Still had my health. Still had years left. But I didn't say that. Didn't want to seem defensive. Didn't want to ruin the good thing we had going. The questions kept coming. Always casual. Always reasonable. Always with that same tone that made it sound like they cared. Like they were looking out for me. And maybe they were. Maybe I was paranoid. Maybe 3 years of loneliness had made me suspicious of the first kindness I'd been shown. But I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong, that the warmth in the house was just a different kind of cold. 6 weeks after they moved in, I found the folder. Travis's folder, in his car, by accident, and everything changed. I found the folder in Travis's car, by accident. My truck wouldn't start that morning. Battery dead. I needed to run an errand, and Travis's Honda sat in the driveway keys by the door where he always left them. Didn't think twice about borrowing it. We were family now, right? The folder fell when I turned onto Market Street, slid off the passenger seat, hit the floor. Red light gave me time to glance down. Manila folder, half-open papers visible. I almost didn't look. But something made me pull over. Park in a grocery lot. Open it. The first document was a quitclaim deed. Property address 247 Woodside Avenue. Grantor Luke Henderson. Grantee Gateway Properties, LLC. Date 2 months ago. My signature at the bottom. Notarized. Official seal, except I'd never signed it. I sat there staring at my own name in ink that wasn't mine. Not anger yet. Just cold understanding. The wrongness I'd been feeling wasn't paranoia. It was real. I pulled out my phone, photographed every page, the signature, the notary seal, the legal description, all of it. Then I studied the signature. It was good. Whoever forged it knew their business. The way my L tilted, how my H curved even the dots on my I's. But there were tells, hesitations in the strokes, places where the pen paused too long. The difference between writing your own name 1,000 times and copying one you'd practiced. I'd seen forged signatures before. In my old life, you learned to spot them. This was decent work, but not perfect. More documents in the folder. Property transfer notice from the county clerk, deed recording confirmation, even a letter from some law firm congratulating Gateway Properties on their acquisition. My house, the house Patricia and I saved for, where I raised Amanda, where 35 years of memories lived in every board and nail, stolen. On paper, legally stolen. I searched Gateway Properties on my phone, Delaware Corporation, P.O. Box address in Newark, no website, no employees, no business history, a shell company, a ghost. I found the notary's information on the deed, called her office. Caldwell Notary Services. Luke Henderson, calling about a deed notarized 2 months ago. Pause. Keyboard clicking. Yes, quitclaim deed for Woodside Avenue. You came in with your son-in-law to sign it. Is there a problem? You came in with your son-in-law. No problem, just confirming. Thank you. I hung up. Travis had forged my signature, brought someone to the notary, probably Amanda, to pretend to be me, made it all look legal, recorded it with the county so officially the house wasn't mine anymore. And Amanda knew. Had to know. The notary said, your son-in-law, not just Travis. Both of them. I could have confronted them right then. Could have walked into that house and demanded answers. Called the police. Gotten a lawyer. But I didn't. Because legal takes time. Costs money. And sometimes you need the full picture before you move. Need to know not just what they did, but why. How deep it goes. I went home. Amanda was making dinner. Oliver played with blocks. Travis came home, kissed. Amanda asked how my day was. Fine, I said. Borrowed your car. Truck battery's dead. Hope that's okay. Of course. What's mine is yours, Luke. We're family. Family. That night I lay awake thinking about the signature, about Amanda at that notary's office, about how easily they'd stolen my house while smiling at my dinner table. Patricia's voice came to me in the dark, something she used to say when Amanda was little, and I'd get frustrated trying to fix things the hard way. Sometimes you have to step back to see the whole picture, Luke. Don't just look at the problem right in front of you. So I stepped back. Started watching, really watching. Travis left for work at 8 every morning, came home at 6, but I noticed his car had way more miles than a 30-minute commute should rack up. Started writing down the odometer readings, tracking them. Amanda said she was taking Oliver to the park, to the library, to playgroups. But I'd see her car parked at the mall for hours. No bags when she came home. Just tired eyes and her phone glued to her hand. I went through the recycling bin, found credit card statements not mine with charges at jewelry stores, restaurants. I'd never heard of a hotel in Montclair. Travis's card, but the dates were weekdays, when he was supposed to be at work. I checked the mail before they could get to it. Found notices about the house I wasn't supposed to see. Tax bills sent to Gateway Properties. Insurance documents with a business address I didn't recognize. And late one night when they thought I was asleep, I heard them talking in the kitchen. How much longer? Amanda's voice. Tired, strained. Soon. Travis. We just need to be patient. Play it right. He's my father. He's an old man who owns a valuable house, free and clear. We need this Amanda, for Oliver's future, for us. Silence. Then Amanda. I know, it just feels... Don't think about how it feels. Think about the 400 grand. Think about being debt-free. Think about Montclair. 400 grand. Montclair. I stood outside their door in my own hallway, listening to my daughter and her husband talk about stealing from me like it was just business, like I was just an asset to liquidate. I went back to bed, stared at the ceiling, counted the cracks I'd been meaning to fix for years, and that's when I knew. This wasn't just about the house. There was more. Had to be. You don't forge a quitclaim deed for no reason. You don't steal a house you're already living in unless you're planning something bigger. I needed to know what, so I kept watching, kept documenting, took pictures when they weren't looking, checked Travis's car when he was in the shower, went through Amanda's purse when she was in the yard with Oliver, looking for the rest of the picture, and slowly, piece by piece, I found it. The mortgage documents, the life insurance policy, the plan. But that came later. First, I had to understand that my daughter was willing to steal my home while looking me in the eye and calling me Dad. I put the folder back exactly where I'd found it. Didn't say a word. But I started watching. And I started finding more. 2 weeks later, I found the loan documents. Travis left his laptop open in the living room. He'd gone upstairs for a shower. Amanda was in the backyard with Oliver. The screen glowed in the corner of my eye, while I pretended to read the newspaper. I shouldn't have looked. Should have minded my business, kept my head down, kept gathering evidence slowly. But I looked. The file name caught me first, Dad Project. Not House Project, not Loan Docs. Dad Project. Like I was something to be managed, solved, liquidated. I moved fast, pulled up the file, started reading. The first document was a reverse mortgage application. Liberty Financial Group. Amount $420,000. Borrower Luke Henderson. Property 247 Woodside Avenue. My signature at the bottom. Forged, same as the quitclaim deed. But this one was worse. Because I knew Liberty Financial, knew it the way you know a name from your past, that you've spent 35 years trying to forget. Liberty Financial wasn't a real mortgage company. It was a front, one of Salvatore Giordano's operations. The kind of place that gave loans to people who couldn't get real ones, who needed money fast and didn't ask questions about where it came from or what happened if you didn't pay it back. I'd helped set up companies like Liberty Financial once. Long time ago. Different life. I knew how they worked. Knew the terms would be brutal. Knew the interest would compound. Knew missing a payment meant more than late fees. I kept reading. $7,000 per month. 60 months. Balloon payment of the remaining balance due at the end if not paid in full. $420,000 at Giordano's rates probably meant they'd owe close to $600,000 by the time it was done. Maybe more. I scrolled down, found bank statements, Travis's account, Amanda's account. Joint account I didn't know they had. No $420,000. No sudden influx of cash. Nothing. So where did the money go? I heard the shower shut off upstairs. Didn't have much time. I opened more files. Found something labeled insurance, life insurance policy. $500,000. Insured Luke Henderson. Beneficiary Amanda Henderson. Policyholder Luke Henderson. Except I'd never bought a life insurance policy. Never even thought about it. Patricia had one through her job at the hospital. That was enough. I clicked the PDF, scanned it fast. Barry Simon's insurance agent, office in West Orange, Policy dated 6 months ago. Monthly premium $239.88. Payment method automatic withdrawal from account ending in 4752. My account. My checking account. I pulled out my phone, opened my bank app, scrolled through 6 months of statements. Found it. There. Every month. $239.88 to Simon's Insurance Services. I'd never noticed. Never looked that close. The amount was small enough to blend in with utilities, with groceries, with all the automatic payments that just run in the background of your life. But it added up. 6 months. 12 months before that for processing. They'd been planning this for over a year. The shower stopped running. Footsteps overhead. I took pictures. Fast. The loan docs. The insurance policy. The bank statements. Everything. Then closed the laptop, set it exactly where Travis had left it, went back to my chair with the newspaper. Travis came downstairs 5 minutes later. Hair wet, t-shirt and jeans. Picked up his laptop without looking at it. "Hey, Luke. You need anything from the store? I'm making a run." "No thanks. I'm good." He smiled. Left. I sat there with my newspaper, not reading a word, thinking about the numbers. 420,000 from Giordano. 500,000 from the life insurance. 920,000 total. Minus whatever they'd already spent. Minus the house value, probably another 400,000 if they sold it free and clear. Over $1 million. That's what I was worth to them gone. And the plan was perfect. Elegant even. Forge the deed so they owned the house. Take out a reverse mortgage against it so they had cash flow and a ticking clock. Buy life insurance so when I was gone, Amanda collected. Then they'd own the house outright, have the insurance money, and just had to deal with paying back Giordano. Except you don't pay back Giordano. Not really. You pay interest forever or you pay in other ways. But they probably thought they were smarter than that. Thought they'd take the insurance money, pay off the mob, sell the house, walk away clean. They just needed me out of the picture first. I thought about the stairs. How Travis had been talking about fixing the railing. How Amanda suggested I should clean out the gutters myself, save money on a handyman. How they'd both been so concerned about my health lately. You should see a doctor, Dad. Just a checkup. Make sure everything's okay. Baseline health records. So when something happened, it looked natural. Expected even. I thought about the shellfish I'd been served last week. The dinner that made me violently sick, sent me to the ER with hives and throat swelling. Food allergy, the doctor said. Didn't know you were allergic to shrimp? I wasn't. Never had been, but it was in my chart now. And Travis had made that dinner. Testing, maybe. Seeing if they could trigger something that looked like natural causes. Seeing if I'd go to the hospital and create a record of sudden health decline. And if that didn't work, there were other ways. Accidents happen, old men fall, take the wrong medication. Don't wake up one morning. I'd seen it before. In my old life. The staged accidents. The insurance payouts. The grieving families who'd arranged it all months in advance. I knew how this worked. They weren't just stealing my house. They needed me gone for the insurance money. And they'd been planning it for months. I found Vanessa by accident, at a coffee shop in Montclair. I'd driven out there on purpose, needed to clear my head. Get away from the house where every room felt like evidence of my daughter's betrayal. Montclair was 20 minutes from Newark. Nice suburb, tree-lined streets. The kind of place people moved to when they wanted better schools and lower crime. The kind of place that cost money. I parked on Bloomfield Avenue, walked past boutiques and restaurants I couldn't afford. Stopped at a coffee shop with outdoor seating because the October air was cool and I needed to think. That's when I saw him. Travis. sitting at a corner table but not alone. A woman sat across from him, blonde, pretty, maybe 30, and very, very pregnant. I froze halfway through the door. Travis reached across the table, took her hand. She smiled. He leaned in, kissed her. Not a friendly peck. A real kiss. The kind that says this isn't the first time. Won't be the last. I backed out of the coffee shop before he could see me. Found a bench across the street with a clear view. Pulled out my phone, pretended to scroll while I watched. They stayed for an hour, talking, laughing. Travis's hand kept going to her belly, protective, possessive. She'd lean into him, rest her head on his shoulder. Every gesture said relationship, said commitment, said this wasn't some affair, this was a life. When they finally left, I followed. Kept 3 cars back. Old habits. You don't forget how to tail someone even after 35 years out of the game. They drove to a development on the north side of Montclair. New construction, big houses with fresh sod and trees that hadn't grown in yet. Travis pulled into the driveway of a 2-story colonial. Beige siding, black shutters, 2-car garage. The kind of house young families buy when they're moving up in the world. The woman, I didn't know her name yet, got out. Travis followed. They went inside together. Lights came on in the living room. Through the window, I could see them in the kitchen. Domestic. Normal. Like this was where he lived. Maybe it was. I sat in my truck 3 houses down and took pictures. The house. The address. The car in the driveway, newer than Travis's Honda. A silver Nissan Altima with a bumper sticker that said "Baby on board," next to a due date calculator showing December. Then I went home, said nothing. Ate dinner with Amanda and Travis like I'd just been running errands. Watched them put Oliver to bed. Went to my room and started digging. Property records are public in New Jersey. You just have to know where to look. The house on Mountainside Road, Montclair. Purchased 4 months ago. Sale price $450,000. Buyer Vanessa Clark. Vanessa finally had a name. I dug deeper. Found the mortgage documents. Down payment $180,000. Loan amount $270,000. Monthly payment around $2,000. $180,000. 3 months ago. The same time Liberty Financial disbursed the $420,000 loan against my house. The math wasn't hard. $420,000 minus $180,000 for Vanessa's down payment. That left $240,000. Where did the rest go, I'd find out later. Right now, this was enough. Travis had stolen my house, taken out a loan from the mob, used the money to buy his girlfriend a house while she was carrying his child, and he was still married to my daughter, still living in my house, still planning to collect $500,000 in life insurance when I was gone. I searched Vanessa Clark online, found her Facebook public profile, no privacy settings. She was 32, worked as a dental hygienist, posted pictures of the new house, the nursery being painted, her growing belly with captions about starting our family, and so blessed. No pictures of Travis, but plenty of references to my fiancé and Ryan, which I assumed was the name he'd given her. Ryan Bennett, probably. Close enough to Travis to remember, different enough to hide. Her last post was from 2 days ago. A photo of a crib being assembled. Caption, Ryan's working so hard to get everything ready before our little girl arrives. Can't wait to start this chapter together. Our little girl. Travis was having a daughter. With Vanessa. While married to Amanda. While living in my house. While planning to rob me of everything, including my life. I sat there staring at the screen, at this woman who had no idea she was part of a con, Who thought she'd found a good man, a fresh start, a future? Who was decorating a nursery bought with stolen money, while my daughter, who'd chosen to marry Travis, who'd moved into my house, who'd forged my signature, was upstairs putting her own son to bed. Did Amanda know? Did she know about Vanessa? About the house in Montclair? About the pregnant girlfriend and the second life Travis was building? Or was she a victim too? Manipulated the same way Vanessa was. Used for her connection to me, to my house, to the money they needed. I wanted to believe Amanda didn't know. Wanted to believe my daughter wouldn't help steal from her father, while her husband kept a pregnant girlfriend in a house bought with the proceeds. But I'd seen Amanda's notebook, the pages of practiced signatures. I'd heard her voice that night in the kitchen talking to Travis about 400 grand and Montclair and we need this. She knew something. Maybe not everything, but something. I closed the laptop, lay in bed staring at the ceiling. Tomorrow I'd find out where the other 240,000 went. Tomorrow I'd figure out exactly how deep this betrayal ran. But tonight all I could think about was the nursery in Montclair. The crib Travis was building for a daughter he'd never mentioned. The woman who called him Ryan and thought she was starting a family. Travis wasn't just stealing from me. He was building an entire new life with my money. And Amanda, I still didn't know if she knew. The abuse started 4 months before the push. Slow at first. So slow I almost didn't notice. Travis began with words. Little comments that felt like jokes but had edges. Oh, getting pretty slow there, Luke. Maybe you should sit this one out, old man. Don't want you hurting yourself. Then it wasn't jokes anymore. You're useless, said matter-of-factly, while I struggled with a jar lid my arthritis wouldn't let me open. Just a burden. Muttered when I asked him to pick up my prescription because my truck still wasn't fixed. Maybe it's time to think about a home, someplace where people can take care of you. Amanda didn't say anything, just kept cooking, kept cleaning, kept acting like she didn't hear her husband talk to her father like he was garbage. The financial control came next. Luke, I found your debit card just sitting on the counter, Travis said one morning. Held it up like evidence. That's not safe. What if someone broke in? I'll hold on to it for you. Keep it secure. I didn't argue, didn't want to cause a scene. Told myself it was just Travis being helpful. But then I needed cash for the hardware store. Asked Travis for my card back. How much do you need? I'll just give you cash. Easier that way. He gave me $20. For a man who'd worked his whole life, saved his whole life, owned his house free and clear, I was getting an allowance from my son-in-law. The isolation was subtler. Dad, you really shouldn't be driving. Amanda this time. Concerned voice. Daughter worried about her aging father. Your reflexes aren't what they used to be. What if you got in an accident? My reflexes were fine. I'd driven the same streets for 35 years without incident, but they took my keys. Just for now, Travis said, until we can get you checked out by a doctor. The doctor visit never happened. Then it was the phone. You've been getting a lot of spam calls, Luke. Scammers targeting seniors. I set up call blocking for you. Travis helpful again. Except the call blocking meant my phone went through an app on his phone. He controlled who could reach me. Michael Costa's number didn't get through anymore. Neither did my old friends from the construction company. Anyone who might ask how I was doing. Anyone who might notice something was wrong. I found Amanda's notebook by accident, looking for a pen in the kitchen drawer. Small, spiral notebook. Her handwriting on the cover, practice. Inside were pages of signatures. My signature. Over and over. Luke Henderson. Luke Henderson. Luke Henderson. Some were terrible. Shaky. Obviously wrong. But by the end of the notebook, they were good. Almost perfect. The kind of signature that would fool a notary. That would look legitimate on a legal document. She'd practiced for weeks, maybe months, sitting at this kitchen table while I slept, while Oliver napped, perfecting my signature so she could steal from me. Not Travis. Amanda, my daughter. I put the notebook back exactly where I found it. Didn't say a word, just added it to the mental list of evidence I was building. The physical abuse started small too. Travis would walk past me in the hallway, bump my shoulder. Not hard, just enough to make me stumble. "Sorry, Luke. Didn't see you there." Then it was a shove in the kitchen. I was getting coffee. Travis was in a hurry, his hand on my back pushing past me. I caught myself on the counter. Coffee spilled. "Geez, Luke, you okay? Gotta watch your balance." The bruises started showing up. My shoulder, my ribs where I'd caught the counter edge, my hip from when Travis accidentally knocked into me on the stairs, and I grabbed the railing hard enough to wrench my back. I documented everything. Dates, times, photos, kept them in a folder on my phone that I'd learned to lock with a password Travis didn't know. The ER visit happened 3 months before the push. I was coming down the basement stairs, the same stairs I'd fall down later carrying a box of Christmas decorations Amanda wanted from storage. Travis was behind me. Said he was coming down to help. Halfway down, I felt his hand on my back. A push. Not hard enough to throw me down the whole flight. Just enough to make me lose my footing. I fell, tumbled down 6 steps, caught myself on the railing but wrenched my shoulder doing it, landed hard on the concrete floor. Travis ran down. "Oh my God, Luke. Are you okay? Why were you carrying that heavy box? I told you I'd get it." Amanda came running. "Dad? What happened?" "He fell," Travis said, already establishing the narrative. "I told him not to carry that box. It's too heavy." They took me to the ER University Hospital, same place I'd end up later. The doctor was young, Indian guy, careful hands when he examined my shoulder. "Contusion. Some muscle strain. You'll need to take it easy for a few weeks." "How did this happen?" He asked me directly. "Not Travis. Me. I fell," I said. What else could I say? Tell him my son-in-law pushed me without proof. They'd think I was senile, paranoid, maybe even try to put me in a home for my own protection. But the doctor looked at me for a long moment, then at Travis, then back at me. "Mr. Henderson, if you're ever in a situation where you don't feel safe at home, there are resources, people who can help." "I'm fine," I said. "Just clumsy." He didn't look convinced, but he couldn't do anything without me asking for help, and I wasn't ready to ask. Not yet. Not until I had everything I needed to make sure they couldn't talk their way out of it. Amanda played her part perfectly at the hospital. Worried daughter. Concerned about her aging father. Maybe we should look into getting him one of those alert buttons, in case he falls when we're not home. But in the car ride home, she was silent. Cold. And when we got back to the house, she didn't ask if I needed anything. Didn't help me to my room. Just went upstairs with Oliver and closed the door. That's when I knew for certain. She wasn't manipulated, wasn't confused. She was part of this. Willingly, actively, 4 months of escalation, 4 months of abuse, 4 months of documentation. And then, Sunday evening, Travis made his move. "Luke, why don't you join us for dinner tonight? I'm cooking. Family meeting. We need to talk about some things." Family meeting. I knew what that meant. The end game. They were ready to make their final move. And so was I. I set the table Sunday evening, just like Patricia used to. 4 place settings. White plates she'd picked out at Target 20 years ago. The The silverware we got as a wedding gift. Cloth napkins folded the way she taught me in triangles, not squares, because it looked nicer. Oliver's high chair pulled up to the table at the end, plastic bowl and spoon ready. I'd made pot roast. Patricia's recipe. The one I'd watched her make 100 times. Chuck roast carrots, potatoes, onions. 8 hours in the slow cooker. The smell filled the house, warm and familiar. Almost felt like she was there. Almost. Travis came home at 6:30. Late. He was supposed to be home by 5:30 for a 6 o'clock dinner. Amanda kept checking her phone, texting him, getting more nervous with each passing minute. When he finally walked through the door, I smelled it immediately. Cologne. Not the cheap stuff he usually wore. Something expensive. And underneath that perfume. Women's perfume. Light floral. The kind Vanessa probably wore. "Sorry I'm late," he said. Didn't sound sorry. Work thing ran long. Sunday. Work thing. Right. Amanda didn't say anything. Just stood at the stove, stirring gravy that didn't need stirring anymore. Her shoulders were tight, hands shaking just slightly. She knew I'd been watching them. Must have known something was coming. But she didn't know what. Didn't know how much I'd found out. Oliver was the only one who seemed happy. 2 years old, everything's an adventure. He banged his spoon on the high chair tray, laughing. "Papa, Papa." He'd started calling me Papa a month ago. Amanda taught him. Used to make me smile. Now it just made my chest hurt. This little boy who didn't understand that his parents were planning to rob his grandfather, who'd grow up thinking it was normal. Or maybe he wouldn't grow up knowing me at all. I brought the pot roast to the table, set it on a trivet, started serving. "Smells great, Luke," Travis said, sat down without offering to help. Just like a restaurant. "Patricia's recipe," I said. "Right. Well, she was a good cook." Was. Like she was something that happened once and ended. Not someone I loved. Not someone I still talked to at her grave every Sunday. Amanda came to the table with the gravy. Sat down. Wouldn't look at me. Kept her eyes on her plate, on Oliver, on the walls. Anywhere but my face. We ate in silence for a few minutes. Just the sound of forks on plates. Oliver babbling. The clock on the wall ticking. Travis finally broke the silence. "Luke, we wanted to talk to you about something." I kept eating. Didn't look up. "Yeah. It's about your situation. Your health. The house." "My health is fine." "Well, you're not getting any younger. And this house." He gestured around. "It's a lot for one person. All these stairs. The maintenance. Maybe it's time to think about something smaller, somewhere with less responsibility." "Like where?" "Like a community. For seniors, where they have activities and nurses on staff. You know, just in case. Just in case. Just in case I fell downstairs, or had an allergic reaction, or didn't wake up one morning." Amanda still wasn't looking at me. She cut her pot roast into small pieces, methodical, focused. Took a sip of water. Her third glass since sitting down. Kept drinking like she could wash away whatever she was feeling. "And what would happen to this house?" I asked. Casual, like I was just curious. Travis glanced at Amanda. Quick, like they'd practiced this. "Well, we'd need to sell it, obviously. Use the proceeds to pay for your care. That's what it's there for, right? To take care of you. To take care of me." After they'd already taken out a $420,000 loan against it. After they'd forged my name on a quitclaim deed. After they'd bought a house in Montclair with my money and planned to collect $500,000 in life insurance when I was gone. To take care of me. I set down my fork. Wiped my mouth with the napkin. Folded it carefully. and set it beside my plate. "Amanda," I said, "look at me." She didn't, kept her eyes down, hands shaking harder now. Amanda. Finally, she looked up. Her eyes were red, like she'd been crying, or was about to. "Do you remember what your mother used to say?" I asked, about honesty, about family. Her throat worked, swallowed. "Dad." She used to say that family meant you never lied to each other, never stole from each other, because blood was supposed to mean something. Trust was supposed to mean something. Travis shifted in his seat. "Luke, I don't think—" "She was wrong," I said, still looking at Amanda. "Blood doesn't mean anything. Does it?" Amanda's eyes filled with tears. Spilled over. "Dad, please." "Please what? Please pretend I don't know. Please act like everything's fine. Please keep letting you steal from me while you smile at my table." Travis stood up. Chair scraped back. "Okay, that's enough. Sit down." Something in my voice must have surprised him. The voice I'd used 35 years ago when I made problems disappear. The voice that said I wasn't an old man playing along anymore. He sat. I reached under my placemat, pulled out the folder, set it on the table between us. "Before we talk about my situation," I said, "let's talk about yours." I opened the folder, laid out the first photo. The quitclaim deed. Gateway Properties, LLC. Travis's face went pale. Second photo. The reverse mortgage. Liberty Financial Group. $420,000. Amanda's hands covered her mouth. Third photo. The life insurance policy. $500,000. Beneficiary Amanda Henderson. "Dad." Her voice cracked. "I can explain." Fourth photo. Travis and Vanessa at the coffee shop in Montclair. Holding hands, kissing. Fifth photo. The house on Mountainside Road. The one Vanessa thought her fiancé Ryan bought for their family. Sixth photo. The property records. Down payment $180,000. I spread them out like a hand of cards. Evidence of everything they'd done, everything they'd planned to do. "Let's talk," I said. Looked at Travis, at Amanda, at my daughter who I'd raised, to be honest, who'd chosen this instead. "Let's talk about Gateway Properties and Liberty Financial and Vanessa Clark." I slid the folder across the table. Travis stared at it like it might explode. Amanda's hands were still over her mouth, eyes wide, darting between the photos and me. "This one," I said, tapping the photo of Vanessa. 7 months pregnant. Beautiful house in Montclair. You told her your name was Ryan, didn't you? Told her you were divorced. Starting fresh. Travis's jaw clenched. "Luke, $180,000 down payment. Made 3 months ago. Same week Liberty Financial disbursed the loan against my house." I looked at Amanda. "Your house now, technically. Gateway Properties. Funny how that works." "Dad, I didn't know." Amanda started. "Didn't know what?" I cut her off. "Didn't know about the house. Then why were you practicing my signature?" I pulled out another photo from the folder. Her notebook. Pages of signatures. "Didn't know about the loan. Then why were you in the kitchen talking about 400 grand and Montclair?" Her face crumbled. "That's not— Or did you just not know about Vanessa?" I pushed the photo closer to her. "Did you not know your husband used the money he stole from your father to buy a house for his pregnant girlfriend?" Amanda grabbed the photo, stared at it. Her hands started shaking harder. "No, No, this isn't. Her name is Vanessa Clark, I said. She's 32, works as a dental hygienist, thinks she's marrying a divorced businessman named Ryan Bennett, who's going to be a wonderful father to their daughter. Daughter, Amanda's voice cracked. Due in December. Nursery's already painted. Pink. Amanda turned to Travis. Slow, like she was moving through water. You're having a baby. With someone else. Travis's face had gone from white to red. Blotchy, angry. It's not what you think. You used me. Her voice was quiet. Dangerous. You used me to get to my father. To get his house. His money. And you've been building a life with someone else the whole time. Amanda, listen. I practiced his signature. She stood up, chair scraping. I forged legal documents. I helped you steal from my own father, and you were using that money to buy a house for your girlfriend. Sit down. Travis's voice changed. Harder, the mask slipping. Sit down and shut up. No. Amanda shook her head, tears streaming. No, I won't. Travis lunged across the table, grabbed her wrist, hard. She yelped. I stood up. Let her go. Stay out of this, old man. Travis yanked Amanda closer. This is between me and my wife. Let her go. He did. Shoved her back into her chair, then turned to me. You think you're smart? You think you figured it all out? He laughed. Mean. Ugly. Yeah, I took out a loan. Yeah, I bought Vanessa a house. You know why? Because your daughter here was too scared to do what needed to be done. Travis, stop, Amanda whispered. We had a plan. His voice rose. A simple plan. You were supposed to have an accident, a fall, something natural. Amanda collects the insurance we pay off. Giordano sell this dump and start over, clean. But she kept hesitating, kept saying, maybe there's another way? There is no other way. The room went silent, just Oliver crying upstairs, woken by the yelling. Amanda stared at Travis like she'd never seen him before. You really were going to? Of course I was. He spread his arms. What did you think this was? You think I married you for love? You're not Vanessa. You're not pretty enough, not smart enough. You were a means to an end, a way to get to this house and the money in it. I saw it happen. Saw something break in Amanda's eyes. The last piece of whatever she'd been holding on to, love, hope, delusion, just shattered. Get out, she said quietly. What? Get out of this house. Now. Travis laughed. This is my house, legally. Gateway Properties. Remember, I own this place. You're just living in it. Dad. Amanda turned to me, face pale, desperate. Tell him. Tell him you have copies of everything. Tell him you can prove it's fraud. I have copies, I said. All of it. The forged signatures, the shell company, the loan, the insurance policy. Enough to send you both to prison for 10 years. Both, Amanda's voice cracked. You forged the documents, I said. Simple, true. You're an accessory to everything. The color drained from her face. But I didn't, I thought. You thought what? That you could steal from your father and claim you didn't know that practicing my signature was innocent, that helping set up Gateway Properties was just paperwork. Travis moved toward the basement door. I didn't see him do it. But suddenly it was open. That door I always kept closed because the steps were steep and the railing was loose. So here's what's going to happen, Travis said, voice cold, calculated. Luke's going to have his accident. Tonight. Right now. And Amanda, you're going to help me. Because if you don't, we both go to prison. And Oliver goes to foster care. Is that what you want? Amanda looked at him. At me. At the open basement door. But I can call the police right now, I said, pulled out my phone. End this. Do it and we all go down, Travis said. Think about Oliver. Think about your son growing up without his mother, without his father, in the system. Bounced between foster homes. Is that what you want for him? Amanda, I said quietly, don't. She was crying, shaking, looking at Oliver's toys scattered in the corner, the photos of him on the wall. I'm sorry, she whispered, barely audible. Then she moved, fast, hands on my chest, shoving. I didn't fight back, didn't grab the doorframe, didn't try to stop my fall, just like I planned. 15 steps. I counted them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. The concrete floor. Pain. Darkness. The sound of Amanda screaming. Dad! Oh my God! Dad! Travis's voice cold. She did it. You saw her. She pushed him. No, I didn't mean. The basement door slammed. Lock clicked. I lay in the darkness, heard their voices above, muffled, arguing, Amanda crying, Travis shouting. Heard him say, it's done, he's gone. But I wasn't gone. Not yet. Still with me after that fall. Comment below with your thoughts. Do you think Amanda will change her mind, or is it too late? What would you do lying on that basement floor? Share your perspective. I read every single one. Before we continue, this story includes fictional components crafted for dramatic effect. Not every detail reflects reality. If you'd rather not proceed, now is a good time to step away. Otherwise, let's discover what Luke's phone call set in motion. I lay on the basement floor and took inventory. Right hip. Sharp pain radiating down my leg. Probably fractured. The kind of break that would need surgery pins, months of physical therapy, but not the kind that would end me. Not tonight. Left wrist. Definitely broken. Already swelling inside my sleeve, throbbing in time with my heartbeat. I'd thrown it out trying to catch myself on the way down. Stupid instinct. Should have just let myself fall loose. But 35 years out of the game, you forget how to take a hit properly. Head. Dizzy. Vision blurred for a few seconds after impact, but clearing now. Mild concussion, probably. I'd had worse. Could still think straight. Could still count. Could still plan. Ribs. Bruised. Maybe cracked. Hurt to breathe deep, but nothing punctured. No blood in my mouth. Lungs working fine. I wiggled my toes. Both feet responded. Moved my fingers on my good hand. All working. Tried my broken wrist. Even those fingers moved, though it hurt like hell. I could survive this. That was the key thing. The thing they didn't understand. Amanda and Travis. They thought 15 steps would be enough. Thought an old man hitting concrete would be the end of it. Clean. Simple. The kind of accident that happens when elderly people with balance issues live alone in houses with steep basement stairs. But I'd survived worse than this. A lot worse, in places a lot darker than my own basement. And I'd planned for this. Every step, every possibility. This was always how it was going to end. From the moment I found that folder in Travis's car, I knew it would come to a confrontation, knew they'd make their move, knew I'd have to let them think they'd won, because the only way to expose them completely was to let them commit to it. Let them push me. Let them leave me here. Let them make their plan for the morning. And then bring in Giordano, above me, footsteps, fast, panicked. Travis's voice muffled through the floorboards. "What do we do? What do we do?" Amanda crying. "Is he? I don't know. I'm not going down there." "We have to check." "No. We wait. If he's..." Pause. If it worked, calling 911 now looks suspicious. We wait until morning, 7 a.m. We come downstairs, find him call for help. We were asleep, didn't hear anything. He must have gone down for something fell. Tragic accident. Travis. Amanda, listen to me. This is it. This is what we planned. We stick to the story. You found him in the morning. You called 911. You tried CPR. But it was too late. He'd been down there all night. Do you understand? Silence. Then quietly, what if he's still alive? He's not. Travis confident, matter of fact. That fall would end anyone, especially someone his age. Even if he's breathing now, he won't be by morning. Exposure, shock, internal injuries. Nature takes its course. More silence, then footsteps, moving away. A door closing upstairs. Oliver crying. Amanda's voice soothing him. "Shh, baby. It's okay. Mommy's here." I lay there listening to my daughter comfort her child, while her husband planned how to explain away her father's death. I pulled my phone from my pocket with my good hand. Screen lit up. No cracks. Patricia always said I should get a case. Funny what you think about when you're lying on a basement floor with broken bones. The clock read 7:30 p.m., 30 minutes since the fall. Felt longer. Felt like hours. I scrolled to Michael's number. The only one that mattered. The only one I'd need. Hit call. It rang twice. Luke. His voice rough. Surprised. "That you, it's time, Michael." Silence on the other end. Not confusion. Understanding. We'd talked about this possibility 3 years ago. At Patricia's funeral. When I told him about Amanda moving in. When I told him I had a bad feeling. When he reminded me that some debts never expire. That he'd always come if I called. Where? Woodside Avenue. The house. How bad? Bad enough. I shifted slightly. Hip screamed. Bit back a groan. "But I can wait. I need you to bring Salvatore." A longer pause. "You sure about that, bringing Giordano into this?" They took out a loan from him. 420,000. Forged my signature. Used the money to buy a house for his girlfriend while stealing mine. They need to answer for it. Jesus Christ. Yeah. We'll be there by morning. 6 a.m. Can you hold out? I looked at the clock. 7:31 p.m. Almost 11 hours. I'll hold. Luke. Michael's voice softened. What happened? I closed my eyes. Saw Amanda's face before she pushed me. The tears, the apology, the fear for her son that made her choose Travis over me. My daughter happened. I'm sorry, brother. Don't be. Just come. And bring Salvatore. I want him to see what his money paid for. We're coming. Hang tight. The line went dead. I set the phone down beside me, let my head rest on the cold concrete. The furnace hummed in the corner. Patricia's clock ticked on the wall. The same clock I'd been counting time by since she brought it home 30 years ago. Above me, the house settled into quiet. Footsteps stopped. Voices faded. By 9 p.m. I heard nothing. They'd gone to bed. Probably couldn't sleep, but pretending, waiting for morning. For 7 a.m. when they'd come down and discover me. I counted the hours. 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 10 p.m., midnight. The pain in my hip became white noise, constant, present, but manageable. I'd learned a long time ago how to sit with pain, how to breathe through it, how to let it exist without letting it win. 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. I thought about Patricia, about what she'd say if she could see me now. Probably something about stubbornness, about the difference between being right and being smart, about how revenge and justice weren't the same thing. But she'd also understand. She'd spent 35 years married to a man who used to make problems disappear. She knew what I was capable of, what I'd been, what maybe I still was when it mattered. 4 a.m. 5 a.m. The clock kept ticking. My phone's battery was at 60%. Plenty. The cold kept me sharp, kept me awake, kept me counting. At 5:45 a.m. I heard a car pull up outside. Quiet. Engine cut. Doors closing soft. Michael and Giordano. Right on time. I waited in the darkness. 11 hours. And I counted every minute. I woke to footsteps. Heavy ones. Not Amanda. Not Travis. I drifted off sometime after 5. 11 hours of counting minutes, managing pain, waiting in the cold. My body finally gave in, just for a few minutes. Just enough. The footsteps came from upstairs. Multiple sets. Moving fast but quiet. Professional. The way people move when they don't want to wake anyone, but also don't care about being subtle. Then I heard Michael's voice. Low, commanding. Check the rooms. Quiet. More footsteps, doors opening. Then Michael's voice again, closer now. At the top of the basement stairs. Luke, you down there. I tried to answer. My throat was dry. Came out as a croak. Here. The basement door opened. Light flooded down. Michael's silhouette at the top of the stairs backlit by the kitchen. He descended fast, taking the steps 2 at a time. Jesus, Luke. He knelt beside me, hands on my shoulder, my neck, checking pulse. Hang on, brother. I got you. Took your time, I rasped. He almost smiled. 11 hours, like you said. He pulled out his phone, used the flashlight to check my pupils. Concussion, definitely. Where else? Hip, wrist, ribs. He moved carefully, professional. Michael had field medic training from back in the day. Knew how to assess damage, stabilize injuries. Can you move your toes? Yeah. Fingers. Most of them. Good. That's good. He pulled a water bottle from his jacket, helped me drink. Sal's upstairs. Brought 4 guys. They're securing the house now. Amanda and Travis. Still in bed. We came in quiet. Used the spare key I kept from the old days. They don't know we're here yet. I nodded. Tried to sit up. Michael stopped me. Don't move. Not until we stabilize that wrist and hip. Just talk. Tell me what happened. So I told him. Whispered it there on the basement floor while footsteps moved overhead. Told him about the forged deed. Gateway Properties, the reverse mortgage from Liberty Financial Giordano's front company, the $420,000, the life insurance policy, Vanessa in Montclair, Travis's daughter on the way, and Amanda, my daughter, practicing my signature in a notebook, standing at that dinner table while Travis manipulated her with threats about Oliver, pushing me down these stairs because she chose her son over her father. Michael's face went hard. Your own daughter. Yeah. And they used Sal's money. His company forged your name to steal from him. They thought I'd be gone by now. Thought they'd pay him back with the insurance money and he'd never know the loan was fraudulent. Michael stood. Sal needs to hear this. He climbed the stairs. I heard voices, low, intense, then heavier footsteps descending. Salvatore Giordano was 73 years old, silver hair combed back, expensive suit even at 6 a.m., reading glasses hanging from a chain around his neck. He looked like someone's grandfather, which he was, but he was also the man who controlled half the organized crime in North Jersey. He stood at the bottom of the stairs looking at me, then at the folder still lying on the floor where it had fallen during my tumble. Photos scattered, evidence spread across concrete. Luke Henderson, he said, voice calm, measured. So Michael tells me we have a problem. We do. $420,000, borrowed against your house, using my company, without my knowledge. They forged my signature, set up a shell company to take the deed, then used the property as collateral. Giordano's jaw tightened, just slightly, the only sign of anger. And where are these people who thought they could steal from me? Upstairs, second bedroom, right side of the hall. He turned to the stairs, spoke to someone I couldn't see. Bring them down, both of them, now. Footsteps overhead, fast, heavy, doors opening, then shouting. Travis's voice. Who the hell are you? Get out of my house. A thud, sounds of struggle, more shouting. Amanda screaming, Oliver crying, loud, scared. Amanda. My baby, let me get my baby. One of Giordano's men, lady, sit down, now. Oliver's crying got louder, then quieter. Someone took him, probably to another room. Away from this. More sounds. Then footsteps on the stairs. Travis first. Hands zip-tied behind his back. Wearing boxers and a t-shirt. Hair messy. Eyes wild. One of Giordano's guys, big, bald, expressionless, holding his arm. Amanda next. Nightgown. No shoes. Zip-tied too. Different guy holding her. She was crying. Mascara from yesterday's dinner smeared down her cheeks. They saw me. Travis's eyes went wide. No, no. You're supposed to be gone. I finished. Sorry to disappoint. Amanda's legs gave out. The guy holding her had to catch her. Dad, oh my God. Dad, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean what? My voice came out flat. Cold. Didn't mean to push me or didn't mean for me to survive. She sobbed. Couldn't answer. Giordano pulled over 2 chairs from the laundry area, set them facing me, looked at Travis, at Amanda. Sit. They sat. Travis's face was pale, sweating. Amanda couldn't stop crying. Giordano remained standing, looked at Michael. Call an ambulance. Luke needs a hospital, but not yet. Back to Travis and Amanda. First, we're going to have a conversation. Michael handed Giordano the folder. The photos, the documents, all the evidence I'd collected over months. Giordano reviewed them, silent, methodical. Set each one down carefully on an old workbench. The quitclaim deed, the reverse mortgage, the insurance policy, the photos of Vanessa. When he finished, he looked at Travis. You took out a loan from Liberty Financial Group, my company, $420,000, using this house as collateral. Travis opened his mouth, closed it, opened it again. I can explain. You forged Luke Henderson's signature, committed fraud against me, against him, against the state of New Jersey. Giordano's voice never rose, didn't need to. You used my money to buy a house for your girlfriend while planning to collect insurance on your wife's father, and you thought I wouldn't find out. Mr. Giordano, please. Be quiet. Giordano turned to Amanda. And you. You helped him. I didn't know about Vanessa, but you knew about the loan, the deed, the insurance policy. He held up her notebook, the one with practiced signatures. You forged these. Amanda nodded, barely, tears streaming. I watched from the floor, watched Salvatore Giordano, one of the most powerful men in New Jersey, look at my daughter and her husband with the kind of cold assessment that meant he was calculating their worth. He pulled up a chair, sat down, looked at them both. Let's talk, he said. About the $420,000 you owe me. Giordano didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. He sat in that cheap folding chair from my laundry area like it was a throne, hands folded, expression neutral, the kind of calm that comes from decades of power. The kind that says he'd seen everything, done everything, and nothing these two could say would surprise him, but it might disappoint him, and that was worse. Michael handed him the folder, the evidence I'd spent months collecting. Giordano opened it, began reviewing, one page at a time, methodical, silent. The quitclaim deed, Gateway Properties, LLC, forged signature. The reverse mortgage application, Liberty Financial Group, $420,000. Another forged signature. The life insurance policy, $500,000. Beneficiary Amanda Henderson. Forged authorization for premium payments. The photos. Vanessa pregnant. The Montclair house. Property records showing the $180,000 down payment. Bank statements, highlighting the dates. The disbursement from Liberty Financial. The payment to the title company for Vanessa's house. All within the same week. Giordano set each document down on the workbench. Didn't look at Travis or Amanda while he reviewed. Just read, absorbed, calculated. When he finished, he looked up. Travis Bennett, where is my money? Travis swallowed. Mr. Giordano, I can explain. I asked where my money is, not for an explanation. The house. We used it for the house. Which house, this one? Giordano gestured around the basement. This house belongs to Luke Henderson. Not to you, not to Gateway Properties. The quitclaim deed you filed is fraudulent. We were going to pay you back. With what the life insurance money you planned to collect after Luke was gone, Giordano's voice stayed level, quiet. You borrowed $420,000 against a house you stole, using my company, my name, my reputation. Do you understand what that means? Travis's face had gone gray. Yes. Yes, sir. No. I don't think you do. Giordano turned to Amanda. Tell me about the signatures. Amanda's voice came out barely above a whisper. It was my idea. Louder. It was my idea. The signatures, I practiced them for weeks in a notebook. Show me. One of Giordano's men, the bald one who'd brought Travis downstairs, pulled the notebook from the evidence pile, handed it to Giordano. Giordano flipped through it. Pages and pages of my signature. Getting better. More confident. More perfect. You did this. Yes. Why? Amanda's hands shook in her lap, zip ties cutting into her wrists. Travis said we needed money. For Oliver. For a better life. He said my father's house was just sitting there. That he'd never use the equity. That it was wasted on an old man living alone. So you stole it. I thought... Her voice broke. I thought it was just a loan. That we'd pay it back. I didn't know about Vanessa. I didn't know about the insurance until later. But you knew about the insurance eventually. Yes. And you didn't stop. Silence. Then quietly, no. I didn't stop. Travis suddenly spoke up. She's lying. She knew everything from the beginning. The whole plan was hers. She wanted the insurance money. She wanted him gone. I just went along with it. Shut your mouth, Amanda hissed. You told me it was the only way. You said if we didn't do this, Oliver would grow up poor. You said, I said what you wanted to hear. Travis lunged forward in his chair. The crew member behind him grabbed his shoulder, slammed him back down. You wanted this. You practiced his signature. You forged the documents. You pushed him down those stairs. Because you told me we'd both go to prison if I didn't. Because you said Oliver would go to foster care. And you believed me, because part of you wanted to do it anyway. Giordano let them yell, let them tear each other apart, watched like a scientist observing an experiment. When they finally stopped exhausted crying, he spoke. The insurance policy. Who signed Luke Henderson's name on the application? Travis looked down. I did. You forged it. Yes. And the authorization for premium payments from his bank account. Me. The laptop. Giordano gestured to one of his men. The guy, younger tech-savvy looking, pulled out Travis's laptop, the one I'd found the Dad project file on. Opened it. Turned the screen toward Giordano. We pulled the search history, the tech guy said. Going back 6 months. Giordano read. His expression didn't change, but something in his eyes went cold. Read them aloud. The tech guy cleared his throat. How long for life insurance to pay out after death? Do life insurance companies investigate accidental deaths? Elderly fall death statistics. Staged accident versus natural death. How to make a fall look accidental. Reverse mortgage foreclosure timeline. Elder abuse versus accident. With each search term, Amanda's face got paler. Travis, that's not... Travis started. Giordano held up a hand. Silence. The dates on these searches. The first one is from 6 months ago. The same week you filed the quitclaim deed, which means you were planning this from the beginning. No. You stole the house. You took out a fraudulent loan. You bought your girlfriend a home with my money, and you planned to collect $500,000 in insurance after staging Luke's accident, which you attempted last night by having your wife push him down these stairs. Travis opened his mouth, closed it. Nothing he could say would change what was in that search history. Giordano turned to me. I was still on the floor, hip screaming, wrist swollen, but I'd heard every word. watched every moment of them destroying each other. "Luke," Giordano said, "you've been patient. You've been smart. You let them commit to this completely. Now you need to decide." He closed the folder, set it down. What do you want me to do with them?" The basement went silent. Just the furnace humming, that clock ticking, Amanda crying softly, Travis breathing hard, everyone waiting for me to decide their fate. Giordano's crew had been busy. While I waited in that basement, they'd been working. Michael stepped forward, pulled out his phone, started reading from notes. We visited the Montclair house, talked to neighbors, confirmed the woman's identity. "Vanessa Clark," I said from the floor, my voice rough. 32, dental hygienist, 7 months pregnant. "Correct." Michael scrolled. She thinks Travis's name is Ryan Bennett, thinks he's a divorced businessman, IT consultant, makes good money, travels for work. That's why he's not around much. Travis stared at the floor, wouldn't meet anyone's eyes. "The house was purchased 4 months ago," Michael continued. "Sale price $450,000, down payment $180,000, mortgage $270,000, monthly payment around $2,000. Giordano looked at Travis. $180,000 of my money. Used to buy a house for your girlfriend while you were married, while living in Luke's house, while planning to rob us both." "It wasn't like that," Travis started. "Then tell me what it was like." Silence. Michael kept reading. "We tracked the rest of the loan proceeds. Bank records show multiple transfers, casinos, online gambling sites, poker rooms in Atlantic City." "How much?" Giordano asked. $150,000. Over 3 months. Amanda's head snapped up. "What?" "Your husband has a gambling problem," Michael said. "Not unkindly, just fact. The online poker mostly. Some sports betting. He was chasing losses, getting deeper. The loan was supposed to fix it. Pay off the gambling debts. Start fresh with Vanessa." "You told me we needed money for Oliver," Amanda whispered, looking at Travis. "For his future. For a better life." Travis said nothing. "The remaining $90,000, Michael continued, went to lifestyle expenses, jewelry purchases at 3 different stores in Montclair. Receipts show women's jewelry, engagement ring, necklace, earrings, all within the last 3 months. For Vanessa," I said. "Yes. Also car lease, Lexus SUV, monthly payments $500. Registered to Ryan Bennett at the Montclair address. Trips, hotels, restaurants." Michael looked up from his phone. "You were building a whole new identity, new life, while your real life sat here waiting." One of Giordano's other men, the tech guy, spoke up. "We contacted the insurance agent, Barry Simons in West Orange. He confirmed the policy." "And," Giordano prompted, "he remembers Travis coming in 6 months ago. Said he had Luke Henderson with him. Older gentleman, quiet, signed all the paperwork. Barry had no reason to question it. ID checked out. Signatures looked legitimate. Except Luke Henderson was never there," Giordano said. "No, sir. Travis brought someone else. Had them pretend to be Luke. Probably paid them, or threatened them. We're still tracking that down." I thought about it. Wondered who Travis had convinced to impersonate me. Some actor, some desperate person who needed money. Didn't matter now. The policy was forged. That was enough. "The timeline," Michael said. "Going back 6 months. This is when it started." He laid out a sequence, photos, documents, dates marked clearly. Month 1. Travis and Amanda file the quitclaim deed. Gateway Properties LLC takes ownership of this house. Forged signature, recorded with the county. Month 2. They apply for the reverse mortgage. Liberty Financial Group. $420,000. Another forged signature. Application approved based on fraudulent documents. Month 3. Loan disperses. $180,000 goes to down payment on Montclair House. Title registered to Vanessa Clark. Travis tells her he bought it for their family. Month 4. Travis starts gambling. Hard. Loses $150,000 in 6 weeks. Online poker. Atlantic City. Desperate to recoup. Month 5. Travis purchases life insurance on Luke. Brings impersonator to Barry Simons's office. Policy for $500,000. Beneficiary Amanda Henderson. Monthly premiums auto-deduct from Luke's account. Month 6. The abuse escalates. Verbal, financial, physical. Creating a pattern that makes Luke look frail. Setting up the narrative for an accident. Leading to last night. Michael set down his phone. 6 months of planning. Every step calculated. Every piece in place. Waiting for the right moment. Giordano turned to Amanda. Amanda, did you know about Vanessa? About the gambling, about the life you thought you were building with this money? Amanda shook her head. Tears streaming. No, I swear. Travis said we needed money for Oliver. For his medical bills, for daycare. He said my father was just holding on to this house out of stubbornness. That the equity was wasted, that we could borrow against it and pay it back, and nobody would ever know. And the insurance, her voice broke. He showed me the policy 2 months ago. Said it was just protection, in case something happened to Dad naturally. That families do this all the time. I didn't know he'd forged it. Didn't know about the impersonator. But you knew last night, I said. My first words since Michael started the report. At dinner. When I showed you everything. You knew then? Amanda looked at me. Yes. And you still pushed me. He said. She was sobbing now, couldn't breathe right. He said if I didn't, we'd both go to prison, that Oliver would be taken away. That this was the only way to protect our son. So you chose. I'm sorry. You chose Travis over me. Chose a life built on theft over telling the truth. Chose to push your own father down a flight of stairs because a man you'd been married to for 4 years told you it was the only way. She had no answer for that. Giordano stood, walked to the workbench. Looked at all the evidence spread out. The photos of Vanessa. The bank records showing gambling losses. The jewelry receipts. The loan documents. The forged signatures. The insurance policy. $420,000, he said. Quiet. Travis, you stole from me. You stole from Luke. You lied to Vanessa. You manipulated your wife. You planned to collect insurance money on a staged accident. And when you got caught, you tried to blame Amanda for everything. Travis finally looked up. I can pay you back. I can. With what the girlfriend's house, your gambling winnings, the Lexus you can't afford. No answer. Giordano turned back to me. Amanda forged the signatures. She helped steal the house. She was part of the plan. But Travis orchestrated everything, used her guilt, her fear, her love for her child, made her believe she was protecting Oliver when really she was protecting him. He was right. I'd seen it, watched it happen. Amanda had been manipulated, but manipulation didn't erase choice. She'd still practiced my signature, still forged documents, still pushed me when the moment came. Every piece of Travis's lies laid bare, and Amanda, she'd been his tool. But she'd made her choice when she pushed me. Amanda broke. Completely. It started with her hands, shaking so hard the zip ties cut deeper into her wrists. Then her breathing. Fast, shallow, hyperventilating. Then the sobs, deep wrenching sounds that came from somewhere beyond grief, beyond fear. From the place where you realize you've destroyed everything and there's no way back. "I did it," she gasped. "I did everything. I forged the documents. I practiced his signature for weeks. She couldn't breathe. Tried again. I put shellfish in his coffee, twice, to make him sick, to make it look like he was declining. I remembered the ER visit 3 months ago. Hives, throat swelling. The doctor asking if I'd eaten shellfish. I'd said no, but Amanda had made my coffee that morning. Added something to it while I wasn't looking. She'd been testing, seeing if she could make me sick enough to create a medical record, a pattern of decline that would make my eventual accident look natural. "The Dad Project folder," Michael said, pulled it up on Travis's laptop, turned the screen toward Giordano. She made a timeline, asset list, contact information for conservatorship attorneys. She was planning to have him declared incompetent. Amanda nodded. Couldn't stop crying. Travis said it was the only way, that Dad was stubborn, that he'd never agree to help us. We had to take control, for Oliver's sake. "For Oliver," I said from the floor. "Or for you." She looked at me, eyes red, face destroyed. "Both. I don't know. I thought..." Her voice cracked. "You were never there. When I was growing up. You worked 70 hours a week. Mom raised me alone. And I was angry. I'm still angry. So you stole from me. I thought you owed us. You had this house free and clear, had savings, had everything, and we were drowning in debt. Oliver's medical bills, student loans, Travis's..." She stopped, realized what she was about to say. "Gambling debts," Travis finished, bitter. "Go ahead. Tell them. Tell them how you knew about the gambling 6 months ago. How you knew I was in debt to people who would hurt us if we didn't pay. How you were the one who suggested using your father's house." Amanda's face went white. "That's not..." "Yes, it is. You came to me with the idea. You said your father was old and alone and the house was wasted on him. You said we could borrow against it, pay off my debts, and he'd never know. This was your plan. Because you told me we were going to lose Oliver, that your bookie was threatening to hurt him. Because you wanted to believe it. Because you wanted a reason to take what you thought you were owed." Giordano let them yell. Let them destroy whatever was left between them. When they finally exhausted themselves, he spoke. "The child. Oliver. Where is he now?" One of the crew members answered. "Upstairs. Safe. We have someone watching him." "Good." Giordano looked at Amanda. "You put shellfish in your father's food, knowing he's allergic, knowing it could have ended him." "I didn't mean you forged legal documents, stole his house, helped plan to collect insurance when he was gone. And when your husband told you to push him down those stairs, you did it. Not because you had no choice, because you chose your son over your father, chose a life built on theft over the truth." Amanda nodded. "Barely. I can't go to prison. Oliver needs me." Giordano turned to me. "Luke, What do you want? I can make this disappear. Both of them. Vanessa never knows. Oliver never knows. They just go away. And your house is yours again, clean. I knew what he meant, knew what go away meant in his world. And for a moment, just a moment, I considered it. Considered letting Salvatore Giordano solve this problem the way he solved all his problems. But I looked at Amanda, at my daughter, at the woman who'd pushed me down those stairs, but who'd also been that little girl on the swings, who'd fallen asleep on my shoulder, who'd called me Papa before she learned to be disappointed in me. No, I said. Not like that. There's a better way. Giordano nodded, like he'd expected that answer. Then here's what happens. He laid it out. Simple, clear, like a business contract, which in his world it was. The house. Deed gets restored to Luke Henderson today. Gateway Properties LLC disappears. Any claims against this property are void. The loan. $420,000. You stole it using fraud. That makes it a $600,000 debt, with interest and penalties. Amanda gasped. Travis went pale. You'll pay $5,000 per month. Every month. For 120 months. 10 years. If you divorce, which I'm guessing you will, then you each pay $2,500 per month. Separately. We don't have, Travis started. Figure it out. Get jobs. 2 jobs. 3 jobs. I don't care. But the payment arrives on time. Every month. If you miss even one, I collect differently. And you won't like how I collect. He turned to Travis. You have 60 days to tell Vanessa the truth. About your real name, your real wife, everything. If you don't, I will. And I'll make sure she knows exactly what kind of man you are. To Amanda. You have 60 days to divorce him. File the papers. Finalize it. Or the debt doubles. $1,200,000. And I'll tell the police everything. Let them handle it their way. Oliver stays with you, Giordano said to Amanda. If you comply, if you pay, if you stay away from Luke. But if I hear you're not taking care of that child properly, he goes to family services and you get nothing. And Luke. Giordano looked at me. Reserves the right to call the police anytime you miss a payment. Anytime you violate these terms. He has all the evidence, all the documentation. It disappears only when the debt is paid in full. He stood, pulled out a document, pre-written, probably by his lawyer overnight. Sign this, both of you. It's a promissory note, legally binding, witnessed by Michael. If you default, I sue, and I win. And then we do things my way. Travis signed, hands shaking. Amanda signed, could barely hold the pen. One more thing, Giordano said. Quiet. Cold. If Luke Henderson dies under any suspicious circumstances while this debt is outstanding, I come for you. Both of you. And I come for everyone you love. Vanessa. Oliver. Your mother Amanda. Everyone. Do you understand? They understood. Outside sirens. The ambulance Michael had finally called. Paramedics came down, professional, efficient, checked my vitals, stabilized my hip and wrist, loaded me onto a stretcher. As they carried me up those basement stairs, the same stairs I'd counted on the way down, I looked at Amanda one last time. She was holding Oliver. The toddler was crying, confused, scared. Amanda's face was destroyed, makeup smeared, eyes swollen. She whispered, "Dad." I looked away, felt nothing, If you've stayed through the confrontation and the terms comment, do you believe Amanda deserves a second chance? Or has she crossed a line that can't be uncrossed? Your perspective matters, leave it below. Gentle reminder, the story you're hearing contains fictionalized details crafted for emotional depth. Not everything is literal truth. If that's not your cup of tea, you're free to exit here. For those continuing, let's discover whether 10 years can heal a wound this deep. I spent 3 days at University Hospital. The surgery took 4 hours. Titanium pin in my hip, cast on my left wrist. They kept me for observation because of the concussion. Private room. Quiet. Michael visited once a day. Brought me books I didn't read. Sat in silence mostly. That's what old friends do. Giordano sent flowers, expensive ones. The card said, "Get well soon." The nurse thought it was sweet. I knew what it really meant. We have a deal, don't forget. Nurse Jennifer Walsh was on duty. The same one from my ER visit 3 months ago, the fall Travis had staged. She recognized me, looked at my chart, looked at me. "Another fall, Mr. Henderson?" "Basement stairs," I said. "Loose railing." She didn't believe me. I could see it in her eyes. But what could she do? I wasn't asking for help. Wasn't pressing charges. Just an old man who kept having accidents. "You should be more careful," she said quietly, meaning I know something's wrong, but I can't help you if you won't let me. "I will be," I said, meaning it's over now. Amanda called twice the first day, 4 times the second. I didn't answer, let it go to voicemail. Deleted the messages without listening. On the 3rd day, she showed up. The nurse asked if I wanted to see her. I almost said no. Should have said no. But I said yes, one last time. She came in looking like she hadn't slept. Hair pulled back. No makeup. Wearing the same clothes from 2 days ago. Oliver wasn't with her, probably with a babysitter. She carried a folder. Divorce papers I'd learn later. "Dad." She started, stopped, couldn't find words. "You have 5 minutes?" I said. "I don't expect forgiveness. I just need you to know Travis manipulated me. He used my fear for Oliver. My anger at you. I thought I was protecting my son. I thought, you thought you could steal from your father and call it protection." Her face crumpled. I was desperate. "You practiced my signature for weeks. That's not desperation. That's planning." "Dad, please." "You poisoned my coffee. Twice. Made me sick enough to go to the ER. Created a medical record that would make my fall look natural. That's not manipulation. That's choice." She was crying now. "He said we'd lose everything. And you believed him. Because part of you wanted to. Because you've been angry at me since you were a teenager, and this gave you permission. You were never there." It burst out of her. Years of resentment. "Mom raised me. You worked 70, 80 hours a week. Came home exhausted. Fell asleep at the dinner table. I needed a father, and all I got was a paycheck. I worked so you could have a life I never had. So you could go to college. Have choices. Not grow up in the world I came from. I didn't need choices. I needed you." Silence. The heart monitor beeped. The 4th dripped. Somewhere down the hall, someone laughed. "Why didn't you just ask me for help?" I said. "For money, I would have given it to you." Because I was ashamed. Because I was angry. Because... She looked down. "Because I wanted you to pay. For all the years you weren't there. For all the times I needed you and you were at work." There it was. The truth. Not Travis's manipulation, not desperation. Anger. Old anger that had been waiting for an excuse. So you took my house, my money, and tried to take my life. I didn't mean for it to go that far. But it did, and when Travis told you to push me down those stairs, you did it. Not because you had no choice, because you chose your resentment over your father. She had no answer. Just stood there crying, holding divorce papers she hadn't filed yet. Pay the debt, I said. $2,500 a month for 10 years. Raise Oliver right. Keep him away from this. And stay away from me. Dad. That's all I want from you. Payment confirmations and distance. She nodded. Barely. I'll pay. Every month, I promise. Promises, I said. Like the promise you made when you were 10, to take care of me when I got old. You kept that one perfectly. She left, took her divorce papers and her tears and her promises. I watched her go, felt nothing. Not anger, not grief, just this hollow space where my daughter used to be. 3 days later, they discharged me, gave me a walker and a prescription for pain medication I wouldn't take. Michael drove me home, not to Woodside Avenue, to a new place, smaller, safer, somewhere without basements. I sold the house on Woodside Avenue 2 months after I left the hospital. The realtor tried to talk me into waiting. Market's picking up, she said, adjusting her blazer in that way real estate agents do when they're about to deliver bad news wrapped in optimism. You could get another $30,000-$40,000 if you hold out until spring. I signed the papers that afternoon. I didn't tell her I couldn't spend another night in that house. Couldn't walk past the basement door without counting 15 steps in my head. Couldn't sit at the kitchen table without seeing Amanda's face the moment before she made her choice. The buyer was a young couple from Jersey City. They had a baby on the way and talked about turning the basement into a playroom. I wished them well and didn't look back when I drove away. I found a 1-bedroom apartment in a building near Branch Brook Park. 3rd floor, no basement. The elevator worked most days, which mattered more now that I walked with a cane. The hip had healed well enough, according to Dr. Alan Fletcher, but it would never be the same. Neither would I. Physical therapy became my religion. 3 times a week at the clinic on Bloomfield Avenue. A woman named Dottie, 60-something, built like a fire hydrant with the bedside manner of a drill sergeant, put me through exercises that made me want to weep. But I showed up. Every session, I did the work. You're stubborn, Dottie said one afternoon, watching me struggle through leg lifts. I'm 70, I told her. Stubborn is all I've got left. She laughed at that. 70's not old. My mother's 86, and she still walks 2 miles every morning. She adjusted the resistance band around my ankle. You've got another 20 years in you, Henderson. Don't waste them feeling sorry for yourself. I didn't tell her I wasn't feeling sorry for myself. I was just empty. Travis went to prison 4 months after the fall. Michael called to tell me. Turned out there was an outstanding warrant from 2019, something about a real estate fraud scheme in Atlantic City. The kind of charge that gets buried when you're careful and surfaces when people start digging. Giordano's people had dug deep. 8 years, Michael said over coffee at our usual spot. He'll do 5 if he keeps his head down. And Vanessa, gone. Left him the day after the arrest. Moved back to Pennsylvania with the baby. Changed her number. I thought about the house on Mountainside Road. The nursery Travis had furnished with my money. The life he'd tried to build with lies and theft. Now it was just another empty property with a for sale sign in the yard. Good, I said. Michael studied me over the rim of his cup. You sleeping enough? That's not an answer. I looked out the window at the traffic on Bloomfield. I sleep fine, Michael. I just don't dream anymore. The first letter from Amanda arrived 3 weeks after I moved into the apartment. I recognized her handwriting on the envelope. Neat. Careful. The way Patricia had taught her when she was 7 years old. For a moment, I considered throwing it away unopened, but I didn't. Dear Dad, I know I don't have the right to write to you. I know I don't deserve your forgiveness or even a response, but I need you to know that I'm keeping my promise. I'm paying what I owe $2,500 every month on time. I'm working 2 jobs now, mornings at a dental office in Montclair, evenings cleaning offices downtown. Oliver stays with a neighbor, Mrs. Rodriguez. She's kind to him. I filed for divorce. It'll be final in 6 weeks. Travis won't fight it. He can't from where he is. I know this doesn't change what I did. I know saying I'm sorry means nothing after I pushed you down those stairs. But I am sorry, Dad. I'm so sorry. Every day I wake up and I'm sorry. Oliver asks about you. He doesn't understand why Grandpa doesn't come to see him anymore. I tell him you're busy. I don't know what else to say. I love you. I know I don't get to say that anymore, but it's true. Amanda. I read it twice. Then I folded it carefully and put it in the drawer of my nightstand. I didn't write back. The letters kept coming. 1 every month. Like clockwork. She told me about Oliver's preschool, about how he'd learned to ride a tricycle, about the time he fell and scraped his knee and cried for me instead of her. She told me about the divorce being finalized, about how empty the apartment felt, about therapy sessions and sleepless nights and the weight of what she'd done. She never made excuses. She never blamed Travis entirely, even though she could have. She just told me the truth month after month, whether I wanted to hear it or not. I read every letter. I kept them all in the same drawer, arranged in order. 24 letters over 2 years. A chronicle of a daughter trying to earn back something she'd lost forever. Michael asked me once why I didn't respond. Because I don't know what to say, I told him. You could say you forgive her. I don't. You could say you don't forgive her. I looked at him. What good would that do? He shrugged. Might give her some closure. Might give you some too. I don't want closure, Michael. I stopped. I didn't know what I wanted. 2 years passed like water through a sieve. I walked in the park every morning when the weather allowed. I had coffee with Michael every other Sunday. I visited Patricia's grave on the 1st of every month and told her things I couldn't tell anyone else. I turned 70 in April. Michael brought a cake. We ate it in silence in my apartment, watching the Mets lose on TV. You ever think about reaching out? He asked during the 7th inning. To Amanda. Yeah. No. That's a lie. I didn't argue with him. He was right. I thought about her every day. About Oliver. About the daughter I'd raised and the stranger who'd pushed me down the stairs. About whether those 2 people could ever be reconciled. But thinking wasn't the same as doing. The 24th letter arrived on a Tuesday in late October. Dear Dad, it's been 2 years. Oliver is 4 now. He starts kindergarten next fall. He's smart, so smart it scares me sometimes. He asked me last week if you were ever coming back. I told him I didn't know. He said, Grandpa's mad at Mommy, isn't he? I told him yes. He said Mommy should say sorry better. He's right. I should say sorry better. But I don't know how. I don't think there's a way to say sorry that's big enough for what I did. So I'll just keep paying what I owe and hoping that someday you'll believe I mean it. I love you. I know I've said that in every letter. I'll keep saying it until you believe me. Amanda. I folded the letter and placed it with the others. 24 letters in a drawer. 2 years of words I'd read but never answered. I sat on the edge of my bed and looked at the stack. 2 years. 24 letters. I'd read every one, but I'd never written back. Year 7. Amanda's payment was late. For the first time in 84 months, the money didn't arrive on the first of the month. By the 5th, I started checking my account twice a day. By the 10th, I felt something I hadn't expected worry. The letter arrived on day 14. Dear Dad, I'm so sorry. The payment is late. Oliver got sick pneumonia and he's been in the hospital. The bills came fast, and I had to choose between paying the hospital and paying you on time. I chose Oliver. I hope you understand. The money will be there by the end of the month. I promise. Amanda, I read it 3 times. Then I called Michael. You think Giordano would give her an extension? I asked. You asking for yourself or for her? For her, I said. She's kept her word for 7 years. 1 late payment because her son was in the hospital. That's not the same as running. I'll talk to Salvatore, but Luke, maybe you should tell her yourself. The payment arrived on the 28th. 26 days late, but it arrived. With it came another letter and a photograph. The boy in the picture was 10 years old. Dark hair, serious eyes, standing in a hospital gown with a stuffed elephant under one arm. He looked thin, but he was smiling, and he had Patricia's eyes. I stared at that photograph for an hour. Oliver, my grandson, 10 years old. I'd missed his entire childhood because I'd been too angry, too hurt, too stubborn to let go. I sat down and pulled out a piece of paper. My hand shook as I wrote, Amanda. The payment arrived. Thank you. I spoke to Michael. You won't have any trouble about being late. Your son looks like his grandmother. Keep being a good mother. That's what matters. Luke. Her response came 5 days later. Thank you, Dad. That means everything. We didn't become pen pals, but we started something. Small exchanges, updates about Oliver, brief acknowledgments. It wasn't forgiveness or reconciliation, but it was communication. Year 8. Year 9. The payments kept coming. Oliver turned 11, then 12. Amanda sent pictures occasionally. Each time I studied them. This boy I'd never met. This grandson I'd walked away from because I couldn't separate him from what his mother had done. Patricia would have been ashamed of me. Year 10. Month 119. The payment came with a letter thicker than usual. Dear Dad. Next month is the final payment. 10 years, 120 months, $300,000. I kept my promise. I've been thinking about Oliver. He's 13 now. He's asking harder questions about why he doesn't have a grandfather. Dad, would you be willing to meet us just once at the coffee shop? 1 cup of coffee. Amanda. I sat at my table for a long time. Then I wrote back. Month 120. 1 payment left. Then we'll talk. I arrived at the coffee shop 15 minutes early. Branch Brook Park. Tuesday, 10 o'clock in the morning. The cherry blossoms were starting to bloom. Patricia and I used to walk here every spring. I found a table near the window. My cane leaned against the chair. She arrived at exactly 10 o'clock. Amanda was 46 now. 11 years had carved lines around her eyes and threaded gray through her dark hair. She looked tired, but when she saw me, something in her face softened. Hi, Dad. Amanda. We sat down, ordered coffee. Black, both of us. Oliver wanted to come, Amanda said quietly. I told him not yet. I thought we should talk first. Tell me about him. She told me Oliver was 13, starting 8th grade in the fall. He loved math. He played clarinet in the school band. He was kind to other kids. He wanted to be an engineer someday. He looks like Mom, she said softly. He has her eyes. I know. I saw the pictures. You kept them. Every letter. 119 letters in a drawer by my bed. Her eyes filled with tears. I didn't know if you even read them. Every single one. We sat in silence. I watched her add sugar and cream the same way she had when she was 7. I was angry, I said finally. For a long time. But I was also wrong. Not about what you did. That was real. But I was wrong about Oliver. He didn't push me down those stairs. You did. And I punished him for your mistakes. Dad. Patricia would have been ashamed of me, I said. She would have told me anger is easy and forgiveness is hard. I spent 11 years being right, and I missed watching my grandson grow up. Amanda wiped her eyes. I'm not that person anymore. I know, I said. I read your letters. I watched you pay back every dollar. I watched you raise Oliver alone. I watched you become someone your mother would have been proud of. I paused. Someone I'm proud of. She broke then, tears streaming down her face. I reached across the table, took her hand. For the first time in 11 years, I touched my daughter. Forgiveness isn't a moment, I said quietly. It's a choice I have to make every day. Some days will be easier than others. Some days I'll still see you at the top of those stairs. But today I choose to try. That's all I'm asking, she whispered. We finished our coffee, made plans to meet again next month. Same place, same time. Maybe next time Oliver could come. When we stood to leave, Amanda hugged me. Brief, careful. That evening, I took the photograph of Oliver and placed it on my mantle next to Patricia's picture. 2 generations looking back at me with the same expression of hope. I don't know if we'll ever be whole again. I don't know if the fractures will ever fully heal. But today, for the first time in 11 years, I called her Amanda without bitterness. And she called me Dad without shame. That's not complete forgiveness. Not yet. But it's a beginning. And right now, that's enough. Looking back now at 81 years old, I see the mistakes clearly. I see the man I was, the enforcer who thought violence solved problems, the father who worked 70-hour weeks and called it love, the grandfather who let family betrayal steal 13 years he could never reclaim. If you're reading this, don't be like me. Don't wait until you're at the bottom of 15 basement steps to realize what matters. Don't spend a decade counting letters instead of holding hands. Grandpa stories like mine aren't meant to inspire, they're meant to warn. Here's what I learned. Family betrayal cuts deeper than any knife, but holding on to that pain cuts deeper still. Amanda pushed me down those stairs, yes, but I pushed her away for 11 years. Which wound took longer to heal, the Bible says to forgive 70 times 7. I couldn't even manage once. Not quickly. Not easily. Forgiveness wasn't a moment of grace, it was 120 months of choosing day after day not to let bitterness win. God gives us second chances. I almost threw mine away. My advice: if someone you love betrays you, feel the anger. Feel all of it. But don't let it become your prison. Don't let it steal more years than the betrayal already took. Grandpa stories should end with wisdom, not regret. I got lucky. Amanda never stopped trying. Oliver never stopped waiting. Not everyone gets that chance. Don't waste yours. Thank you for walking this difficult journey with me to the end. I'd love to hear your perspective. What would you do if you found yourself in Luke's situation, facing such a profound breach of trust? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. If this story resonated with you in any way, consider subscribing so you won't miss future narratives. A gentle reminder: while inspired by real-world themes of family betrayal and the complex dynamics found in many grandpa stories, certain elements have been dramatized for storytelling purposes. If this content doesn't align with your preferences, feel free to explore other videos that might suit you better.